It was an icon penis, by the way.
It was stupid. It was stupid. And yes, the when you're the number one on the top of the mountain, you don't have to turn around and tell them to eat a dick. They're already doing it because you're beating their ass.
Hide your kids. Lock the doors. You're listening to HR's most dangerous podcast. Chad Sowash and Joel Cheeseman are here to punch the recruiting industry right where it hurts. Complete with breaking news, brash opinion, and loads of snark. Buckle up, boys and girls. It's time for the Chad and Cheese Podcast.
Oh, yeah. Two guys you wouldn't want to touch with a 39.5-foot pole. Hi, kids. It's the Chad and Cheese Podcast. I'm your co-host, Joel Presidential Pardon Cheeseman.
And this is Chad, Snakes on a Plane, Sowash.
And on this episode, Rippling unleashes the snake. Is ERE adapting or dying? And Walmart bends over for newly elected President Trump. Let's do this.
At Shaker Recruitment Marketing, our comprehensive services include branding, talent attraction, MarTech, and analytics, empowering you to achieve your recruitment marketing goals. We believe in doing things the right way, delivering the right message through the right activation, achieving the right conversion. For us, business is deeply personal. Our legacy is built on relationships. Together with our people, clients, and partners, we've been shaping the world of talent for over 70 years.
So how's the weather over there, huh? How's the weather? As you can see,
freaking cold. Let me check my app. 16 degrees. 16 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh,
here in Central
freezing,
Indiana.
baby, freezing.
Yeah,
that's not nice.
It's a good time. Yeah, you look much more comfortable. Do I dare ask what the temperature is in Portugal right now?
Yep, around 70. Around 70. It's the skating around there. It's nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
First part of December, first part of January. It's during the day. It'll drop at least 20 degrees at night, but it's wonderful.
These are the days where I need a warm barbacoa bowl to keep me happy.
Chipotle is my life.
By the way, I have a Chipotle story that is relevant to our business. I went into Chipotle this week. I know that shocks you. And I go to check out. I'm wearing my Paradox swag, my jacket, coat.
Yeah, it's very nice. Yeah.
Windbreaker, if you will. And the guy at the register says, "Oh, do you work for Paradox?" And I was like, "Well, that's weird." And I said, "No, but I'm a friend of Paradox." And the guy says, "Yeah, we just implemented Paradox as our hiring system." And I said, "Oh, well, how's it going?" He said, "Well, we had a few bumps with the scheduling at first, but we've worked that out, and we really like it." And I said, "Do the job seekers like it?" And he said, "Yeah, they seem to like it a lot better than filling out an application and submitting it. They like the chat." So anyway, that's my newly found friendship with my local Chipotle. I go in with my Paradox and hope that I get a free burrito at some point. But other than that,
no shit. Right?
Not. And no one, I don't think that's ever happened to me in 25 years in the industry. Like no one's ever said, "Oh, do you work for iSems or do you work for some random, vendor?" So that was kind of exciting for me.
Yeah, OnlyFans. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me that you were in Chipotle, but it does surprise me, and that's really cool that down at the store level they actually know the product,
the brand.
I mean, that's really fucking cool. Yeah. I mean, that's awesome, and you're right. I mean, if you go through a lot of these older kind of like legacy applicant tracking systems, like we've been talking about, a lot of the franchise they don't use them. They just don't use them just because they weren't made for it. So that's really cool.
So
exciting. Shout out to good swag and Paradox.
Shout out.
Okay. I'm going to hit shout outs.
Yep.
And shout out is going to be to Spotify year-end wrap-up. Kids, you see these all the time. You love these. You know you love them. This one's for the Chad and Cheese podcast. I just love how Spotify wraps up all of their stats and they make them look sexy. It's just great a marketing mechanism for them. And here is some stats that they've wrapped up. Spotify has wrapped up for the Chad and Cheese podcast. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Drum roll, baby. Give me drum roll. Yeah, drum roll.
Hit me with those amazing numbers, Chad. I can't wait.
So we had great numbers last year, so I thought this year they wouldn't be as great. I was wrong. 121% increase in listeners.
Wow.
340% increase in streams. So we're not just getting listeners, they're listening a lot. 31% increase in followers. Mm-hmm. We're a top 10 show for 3,000 plus fans. We're a top 5 show for 2,500, nearly 2,500 fans. Mm-hmm. And we are the number 1 podcast for 832 of you beautiful people that are out there. You're going to make me cry. All right. Going to make me cry. All right. I told myself I wouldn't do this.
That's over 800 people that need therapy immediately if we are their number 1 show.
This is therapy.
It was the year of the podcast. We saw in the presidential race, and for whatever reason, podcasts are having a moment. I mean, if you break that down with our reach and the conferences that we attend, the media properties that we have that we know well, like we're as competitive in terms of attention as probably any of those entities. I mean, if you stop to think about how many people come by our booth on a weekly basis to see us and hear us and listen to our sponsors, like it's kind of a big deal. I think that what really comes into play with podcasts is a level of trust and engagement that's so personal. Because you're in people's ears. I mean, now we're more in people's eyeballs, which I'm fearful of. But it's an amazing medium. I mean, no one really blogs anymore. They do, but it's just not what it is. I mean, TikToks are kind of the next thing that you'll see a lot of engagement with. But yeah, it's pretty amazing. This road that we've been on, we're like a 8-year-old overnight success, but I'm impressed. And that's just Spotify. I mean, Apple Music is our number 1 source of traffic. So if you take those Spotify numbers, multiply them by 2, that's kind of where we're looking. And I think, did you read the demographic breakdown? Yeah,
demographic breakdown was generally on the higher age range side. So, I mean, we are getting, don't get me wrong, we're going to have the entry level, the recruiters, we're going to have some of the, the ones who want to get into leadership roles. But for the most part, they're on the older side. So they're going to be more the leadership side of the house.
But we're also, I thought it was pretty even. It was pretty even. I didn't feel like we skewed really old. I thought we had a good demographic connection. Maybe that Spotify has a piece of that. But
35 to 54 is like the major. Now that's 2 demographics, but that's our sweet spot.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're if you're looking to get in front of an audience, that's the audience everyone wants to get in front of. So good on us.
Writing checks, big boy. Those are the ones who are writing checks.
Writing checks.
Winning.
Chad, we've been told that we have a face for podcasting.
Yeah. Speak for yourself, man. One thing that I do know, and I just got this from the analytics department over at YouTube and Sergey, our video guy, 80% of the people who actually watch our videos are loyal watchers. They're back, right? They don't hit the subscribe button. So, hey kids, hit the subscribe button. Tell them why, Joel.
Let's be honest. They're not. There's some degenerates listening to the show on a regular basis. But yes, I think if you're not tuned into us on YouTube, you're missing some exclusives that you can't get on the show. You're getting outfits that I don't normally wear on the show, or does Chad. Euro Chad, you can't really appreciate Euro Chad unless you see Chad. The voice doesn't really come out. You get to see me in glamorous locations. Like right now, I'm in Canada visiting the in-laws. If you couldn't tell, I'm in a Canadian state of mind. So you're missing out on a lot if you're not watching us on YouTube and just listening to us on your favorite podcast platform. of choice. So speaking of winning, my shout out goes to social commerce. I had a lot of time this holiday weekend to surf the socials, and I was just so impressed with social commerce. I bought my first thing on TikTok.
Okay.
Mostly because I just wanted to see how the experience would be. I mean, it's like QVC personalized for you.
Really?
And it's amazing. Like the algorithm, like what you watch, the products they present to you. I'm sure as you buy more and more stuff, they put more and more of that in front of you.
Tuned. Yeah.
And it's so easy. It's like click pay, done, shipping. They send you updates. It's
very
fantastic.
Amazon-like, kind of like one click. Is that what you're talking about? Very
Amazon, but
Amazon-like?
I'm not searching. They just like present it to you, and you go, "Oh, that's pretty cool!" Like, it's 50% off today. Like, yeah. And there's a clock counting down of how long that deal lasts, which is total bullshit. And I know that, but I still fall for it, Chad. We talk a lot about
gets me every time.
The threats to Google, and their market share and Perplexity and AI. But like, if more and more shopping goes to TikTok, and I looked up some numbers because I was interested. The Influencer Marketing Hub predicts that by 2030, social commerce revenue is expected to reach $6.2 trillion worldwide. It's a fraction of that now, so it's going to grow immensely. But if you do more and more of your shopping on social media and less on searching on Google, that's going to be a big hit to Big G. So anyway, I shout out to social commerce. I'm rarely impressed these days about something, but they have nailed this. And I got to think, if you're LinkedIn and you're launching these shorts now and these videos, which I think is cool. Like I get on these shorts on LinkedIn. I'm like, where the hell am I? I don't even know. And this is LinkedIn. They need to create a one-click apply with your LinkedIn profile, so companies can put on videos about like, if they know you're a manager of something, then they show you a manager of a company locally to you. Like, hey, here's my job. If you want to know more, apply now, click here. Like LinkedIn better do this, because this is the future, I think. The idea of searching is fine, but like showing people and targeted opportunities and just let them click and apply, like that could be huge for them.
All they have to do is buy Job Pixel and it's done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next question.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, we're both advisors. Okay. So don't get me wrong, kids. We're getting it out there, but seriously, if they bought a platform like Job Pixel, it's already ready. It's ready already. All you have to do is go in there, have somebody, who's a nurse, talk about the nursing job, click below, boom, put in the requirements, do all that stuff. And obviously you can still do the normal text-based stuff, but do the video stuff. I mean, what the hell? Why not?
Yeah. If you want to get in front of passive job seekers, the people that aren't searching jobs, give them a video, show them the company, show them the job, entice them and say like, hey, apply now. What do you got to lose?
Well, do that on LinkedIn, and then also go to people like JT O'Donnell, who has over 1 million followers on TikTok, and have her say, hey, my viewers, have her talk about the job, and have influencers do it too. I mean, this is a new market that we really have to be focused on. Video, snackable content. It's so sexy. And again, from a relevance standpoint, as you had said, it's going to deliver up. And when you have influencers who have the kind of weight that like a JT has, holy shit, man. That's an all day thing.
Yeah. I'm sure Flockety, our friends at Flockety, are thinking of something similar as well.
Tracy Parsons. Oh yeah. She'd kill that. Yeah.
TP. Almost as good as free shit from Chad and Cheese. Chad.
Nothing's good as free shit from Chad and Cheese. And here's why, kids, because you all know that those sexy t-shirts that you see being worn that everybody talks about, they talk about because they feel like a hug from Chad and Cheese. Those are provided by our friends at ERE. Bourbon barrel aged syrup. This is, and it's got to come from Canada because that's where the best stuff comes from.
The 51st state, that's right. Canada. You did see that, right? Trump on Canada.
No, I don't want to go down that road. Jesus Christ.
Well, Justin Trudeau went to visit Trump to kiss the ring. And apparently Trump joked that Canada should just be the 51st state and Trudeau could be governor. And then Trump posted a picture of himself on a mountain with a Canadian flag. It says, "Oh, Canada." Anyway, sorry. Yes. Our friends at Canada. Anyway. Maybe the
Kia ora. Yes.
Kia ora. Yes.
Also
the maple syrup will still taste great.
Craft beer by Aspen Tech Labs. That's right, a whole box. Craft beer, you're gonna love it. Aspen Tech Labs. Whiskey from our friends, 2 bottles of whiskey from our friends at Tex Kernel by Bullhorn. And birthdays. If it's your birthday, kid. Rum with Plum. Win some high value rum from Plum. Go to chadcheese.com/free.
I can feel it all the way down in my plums.
That's right, Chad. Some lucky listeners are celebrating another trip around the sun. By the way, December, I think we're going to up the game a little bit on the giveaways this month. We're going to crank it up a little bit on the niceties. So get ready, kids. We'll up our game for that. But here's some of the birthdays being celebrated. We got Frank Wittenauer, Mary Kelly, Michael Cox, Nathan Budziak, Terry Kaler, Stephen Branch, Andy Parker, Kyle Pollard, Joey Lee, Michelle Sumrall, Jim D'Amico, Scott Williams, and Julie Loneman. Hope I said all those correctly. Celebrating another trip around the sun. Happy birthday, everybody. And that brings us to
Fantasy Football from Factory Fix.
Football by Factory Fix. That's right. We're heading into week 14, I believe. We have 2 more weeks, I think, till the playoffs start. Here's how your leaderboard shakes out. We got Dean, the Daddy Mac Mackerel, the man from down under, showing us how to do it here in the United States. Number 2 is your boy right here, sticking with that number 2 spot. Number 3, David Stiefel. 4, Chad Sowash, clinging on to that final playoff spot for the championship. Keith the Commissioner Sonderling kicked my ass last week. Shout out to him for that. Christy Lisbon, Action Jackson Dahlquist, Laura Martinelli, Jennifer Terry Tharp, Dina Perro for Pyros, Sean Horton Here's a Who, and bringing up the caboose.
Welcome to all
That's
things
right.
Scottish. Our slogan is, if it's no Scottish, it's crap!
That's right. Adam Gordon from Scotland at number 12 of 12 players. And that is the Factory Fix leaderboard for fantasy football with Chad and Cheese starting to wind down. If Adam loses, I'm thinking we need to have, for the first time, the loser gift. We got. Can we buy a kilt that says "loser" on the front of it and have him wear that around Glasgow?
That wouldn't be cool. That wouldn't be cool.
Steven would wear it, but it's probably
we
a
still
little
have
bit
to figure
too.
out the Steven tattoo thing. Okay, so let's focus here. Let's priorities. We got to get Steven a tattoo. That's what we got to do.
Oh, good time with the Scots. Good time with the Scots. Let's talk about some news, shall we?
Topics.
Oh, we got some
Layoffs.
Yeah, some layoffs that we missed. Layoffs are a good time to have a press release during Thanksgiving. People kind of miss it, but we didn't miss this one. LinkedIn laid off 202 employees over the last 2 weeks, representing roughly 1% of the company's 18,000 or so employees. LinkedIn spokesperson Greg Snappy, that's a cool name, Greg Snappy, confirmed the cuts occurred in engineering and customer support. He said to the Information, quote, we're among changes within teams to align our organizational structures and work to our strategic priorities and to support our customers, end quote. Chad, any thoughts on the recent layoffs at LinkedIn?
Nope, just going to have to keep an eye on this because it could be one of those that just continue to draw out. So you see 1%, 1%, 3%, 5%, you know what I mean? So have to take a look because alignment, yes, kids, I'm using air quotes, alignment doesn't happen generally in one cut.
Yeah, there are two schools of thought on layoffs. It's one, you do like a 30% cut and you're done and you get on with your life. And then there's this slow drip where you have different, you drip them out. And to me, this was sort of Latin for we're automating, and these are folks that we don't need, but we're not going to cut them all at once. And those are customer service and engineering. And when you hear Amazon talking about we need fewer engineers. And when you talk about Klarna eliminating customer service, I'm sure Microsoft got on the phone and said, hey, LinkedIn, let's eliminate some of these positions. Don't do enough to scare everybody, but just do enough to make us feel better about the future. So yeah, I'd say let's keep an eye on this. I was shocked it wasn't more in terms of the percentage, but hey, that's easy for me to say. The 202 people that lost their job, it's a pretty big deal to them. So if you need some good engineers and customer support people, LinkedIn, just put a few in the pond, everybody.
You're so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
All right, Chad, you got some gossip for us here. ERE. Geez, the OG of conferences. They've been around since 1998. You got word that they might be sunsetting SourceCon, one of their fabled conferences. What did you hear from the grapevine?
Well, we'll get to that in a second. I want to get a little nostalgic first, because remember when ERE was one of the must-attend conferences in our space? I mean, everyone used ERE's networking tools. They read their articles. They commented on the articles. They shared the articles. They attended. Everybody attended the webinars. I mean, ERE was the place for TA professionals to attend events and get their daily dose of HR and recruiting news and gossip. ERE was a central part of the recruitment industry. What happened? Before we get into the SourceCon stuff, what the hell happened?
So full disclosure, I used to write for ERE as a contract publisher. I've known Dave. I mean, you and I both went to these early conferences. I mean, I started going in around 2005. The timing of it was really good. I mean, they were willing to embrace bloggers and video stuff. They sort of like where Sherm said no, ERE said yes. And the it crowd came to ERE. They had a blogger, receptor like area with bean bags and shit. So it was was just the thing. I guess this would be like a fourth iteration of the conference. Dave didn't leave, but he sort of handed the reins over to someone CEO, else and around the Great Recession time, who turned it into sort of an executive event where they said, no more bloggers, no more fun. Like, we're going to be a real serious event and have executives, and we're going to make more money in the process. And maybe they did, maybe they didn't. Dave came back and then revived it sort of to its tried to get back to where it was. They bought SourceCon, they bought TLNT, they bought, not Level 42. That's the band from the 80s, but they acquired some folks, the Candies they just acquired. So they've been smart about, acquisitions. What happened? I don't know. I mean, they're working at so many things, right? Like their blogging, their articles primarily. And it's a world of podcasts and video and shorts. So that
surprised me that they didn't go down that road faster. I mean, because it's content, right? I mean, content's content. So it really surprised me they didn't go down that road faster. Yeah,
the content. I mean, they've never really sort of re-engaged with the thought leaders or the people that are going to be like doing videos from the shows and everything. They just kind of lost the mojo. The kids moved to Unleash. They moved to Wreckfest. They've just sort of moved. And I think that, ERE is kind of the cockroach of the recruiting conferences. And what I mean by that is, like, they survive. Dave, I've known for a long time. He's a smart guy. He's an old TMP guy from the 90s in Monster. I mean, again, this thing launched in 98. He bootstrapped the whole thing, took it to like 1 to 15 employees. So he's been able to adapt to this stuff and survive. I reached out to him to ask what was going on. He said, quote, about some of the rumors you were hearing, and particularly about SourceCon, which I don't know if you want to get to now, or because you were asking what happened to ERE. But so the rumor is SourceCon is going to be sunset. I said, Dave, what's up? He said, quote, those rumors are incorrect. And while we're making some big changes to SourceCon next year, it is an evolution that is necessary because the role of sourcing and TA is rapidly changing. I'm excited about where we are headed as a business. He also said, quote, we're going to be issuing a press release in a few days about what's going on with SourceCon. Look, sourcing is not what it was when he bought SourceCon. It's automated. I mean, it's just a different animal. And I've got to think that conference, the numbers going to that conference have shrunk significantly in the last since
I have
COVID.
more on that. So I have more on that. So first and foremost, in blog post October 6th, 2009 is when the acquisition, at least the announcement of the acquisition happened. That was 15 years ago.
Yep.
And we are now receiving reports that the last SourceCon event was struggled to get 100 attendees, where in the past they got in upwards to 800. So is sourcing changing? Yes. Has it always changed? Yes. Sourcing was a different animal pre-internet. Resume databases changed sourcing. Then search engines changed sourcing. LinkedIn changed sourcing. Sourcing continued to evolve, but does this next evolution of sourcing involve humans? It feels like David Manster believes humans are going to be weeded out of the sourcing side of the house, and you can't sell tickets to robots, right?
Yep.
So sourcing was a full-time job when you had to dig into file cabinets. It became even easier when you could access the gold mine of candidates on the internet, resume databases, niche communities, that kind of thing. But now tech is making that full-time job a split-second task. Tech can source and match a database of millions of candidates in seconds. So instead of having to dig into that filing cabinet full of resumes or build a Boolean string for purple squirrels, the algos are prompt engineered and perform that once full-time job in seconds. So is this an evolution? At first I was like, it is dying, but yeah, I mean, I think it is an evolution, and you're seeing big numbers go to much smaller numbers. Again, something that used to be a product right now is turning into a feature.
Yeah. And fewer companies that are selling it, right? I mean, in the heyday of SourceCon, the exhibit hall was full of people that we have more profiles, we have better search, we have integrations as such. Like, we've talked in nauseam about the companies like HireTool and like that have either pivoted totally or gone out of business. And those are all sourcing tools. So the people that could carry that could fund these things is down significantly, in addition to people that would actually go to learn sourcing. Sourcing used to be, Shally talking about how to use Alta Vista to find people in a haystack, or how to scrape a company's about us page to get people that are executives there, and that's all gone. So, and by the way, like, when someone like Adam Posner, the podcast that we know well, when he goes on LinkedIn and says 80% of recruiters are going to be gone in 5 years, I don't know if he's right, but if it's half that, that's a big cut into attendees in these conferences and companies that are selling to them. So, I mean, I suspect all conferences, you either have a really great niche, like RecFest it's a party, right? It's just a good time. It's relatively, they don't want to be too huge. They're like a really good size. But yeah, if you're not intriguing, engaging, doing something different, people have limited budgets. They have limited conferences that they can attend. They're going to go to the one that is the most fun, where the most heat is and where the most energy is. And right now,
where they learn the most.
That's the challenge that Dave has with his conference, is how do you make it something that is a must go to event?
Good luck, buddy. Good luck.
They haven't done that in a while. Yeah, good luck.
No,
now, I'm a fan. I like Dave. ERE. You and I are old timers. Remember the glory days of all that.
It's been a long time since I've been to an ERE, though.
Yeah.
It's been a very long time.
Or invited. I've
either way.
I can't remember last time. Is like, we want you guys. Who do we need to get? Who's the list? Who's the list? So anyway.
The list is Rippling and Deel. That's
Rippling and
list.
Deel. Yes, this is where the heat is. So next up in news: don't buy snake oil, says a new landing page at rippling.com, calling out competitor Deel. It goes on to say, quote, Deel often claims to be a one-stop solution for all your global payroll needs, but their customers pay the price for gaps beneath the surface. Play this game to find the differences between Deel's claims and the reality of their product, which leads you to a game where you create a snake. I didn't totally understand it. But you create a snake and you point out lies or fabrications. So anyway, Rippling says, hey, tired of playing games. get a demo of our product, see Rippling in action. Chad, the Trumpification of our business is happening. This used to be out of bounds, calling out competitors like this. But what are your thoughts on the growing Rippling Deel? I don't know. What are we going to call it? Battle? Scuffle? Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's interesting because Rippling has about $2 billion in funding and Deel has $679 million. Yes, the difference, Rippling $2 billion, but with a B, and Deel $679 million. That's still a lot of money, no matter what, right? But reports, and we actually have heard reports. And Deel has said that they are at about 600 million ARR, and the estimate for Rippling is 350 ARR. Mm-hmm. So you've got a company who is maybe got about a quarter the amount of funding that you do, and they're outperforming you. Right. Mm-hmm. You are a challenger brand when you should be, because you have a bigger war chest. You should be the big brand. So usually the challenger brand is the one who does this kind of stuff. And we've seen this in the past where, not in our space, but Pepsi called out Coke for the Pepsi challenge, the taste test. Right. And that's how you try to elevate your brand to that leader's brand, right? We're better than they are. Here, take a test. In this case, I mean, these guys, Rippling, the company with $2 billion in funding, attacking Deel, which should make everybody think, obviously, that Deel is the Coca-Cola in this conversation. I mean, hell, Rippling's chief revenue officer posted the drama on LinkedIn, again, wanting to make this stunt receive more awareness, more public awareness, but also by sharing the head of American sales from Deel's comment that they actually had in the chat that said, "Eat a dick." Yes, it was unnecessary.
It was an icon penis. It was an icon penis, by the way. It was
stupid. It was stupid. And yes, the when you're the number one on the top of the mountain, you don't have to turn around and tell them to eat a dick. They're already doing it because you're beating their ass. So just a little leadership and marketing recommendations there, kid. But let's be clear. I mean, both companies are doing incredibly well financially. But from the outside looking in, if Rippling is pulling these kinds of stunts and expending resources, specifically attacking Deel looks like the big dog, the market leader, while Rippling is using their own brain power and tech resources to recreate a horrible 1980s style game. I mean, to me, it fell flat on the Rippling side, and it just made Deel look better. If the dude hadn't done the eat a dick comment, I think they would have definitely came out on top with nothing to talk about. But, things happen. Humans happen.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Yeah, so I reached out to Elizabeth Diana. That is her real name. Communications at Deel. And she said, quote, "We're just focused on building for our customers and not on unnecessary noise," end quote. I think that was a pretty prescient comment.
Under that, was it eat a dick?
No, there was
Diana?
not.
Was it instead of sincerely Diana, it was eat a dick, Cheeseman, Diana?
Yeah. No. I forget what my GIF reply was, but I don't think it was that. Like you say, Coke and Pepsi. My analogy was the Beatles or the Rolling Stones. Well, you had the Beatles making great records, not really talking shit. I mean, John Lennon talks some shit, but like you had a band that was just creating great records. And then you had the Stones, which is sort of dangerous. The kids that were naughty, like they had a separate brand. And to me, this feels like, if you're the clean kid, it's Deel's maybe your thing. But if you want to live a little faster, if you want to like come hang with the cool kids, we got the games and the funny stuff, and like come over to Rippling. You're right. I mean, Deel, we've talked and like many times. They're all cylinders. They make great acquisitions. Their profits are doing very well. I mean, both these companies will probably go public at some point, and then we'll really know exactly what's under the hood. But until then, Rippling has to make noise. They have to like make waves. They have to get attention. I mean, we're talking about it. That's what they need to do. Look, their founder, Parker Conrad, is a jackass. his LinkedIn profile literally says customer support. He's just a jackass. He's in sort of the mold of Elon and some of the other CEOs that we talk about. But for some people that's hip, and some people that's a buying decision. He fucked up Zenefits. Is this the early stages of him fucking up Rippling? I don't know. It's not a good look. It's a bad look from where I sit, and I don't see corporate America embracing this stupidity.
Know your audience, kids. Know your audience.
Know your audience. And speaking of audience, we're going to take a quick break. Listen to the sponsors, kids, because there is no show. There is no show without the sponsors.
So you posted a new job ad. Now you can sit back and wait for the applications to roll in, right? That's why we built JobPixel. Imagine showing candidates why your company is great with real people, real stories, and real culture. With JobPixel, it's not just another job ad. It's an invitation to something much bigger.
Video gives you a 3 times better response rate. So instead of chasing after candidates, they'll be coming to you.
And with a 34% boost in conversions, candidates aren't just looking, they're applying.
And if you're worried about people clicking away, don't be. Our videos reduce bounce rates by 25%. That means they're watching, they're engaged, and they're interested.
282% more engagement. Yeah, you're going to need a bigger inbox.
Finding the right candidate is tough, but with JobPixel, it doesn't have to be. Show your company's authentic story, and the candidates will follow.
Let's make recruiting fun again, because honestly, it could use some help.
Do you want to see how JobPixel can save you time and money while achieving your KPIs? Schedule a demo today.
Holy
All right, Chad.
shit.
Take 2 of these and call me in the morning. A new study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, or JAMA, as the cool kids call it,
JAMA
demonstrates first time we've brought up the Journal of the American Medical Association on the show, demonstrates the potential value of LLMs in clinical diagnoses. From the study, the LLM alone demonstrated higher performance than both physician groups, indicating the need for technology and workforce development to realize the potential of physician artificial intelligence collaboration in clinical practice. In short, the bots outperformed the humans. Chad, this one really caught your attention. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's not only that the bots outperformed the humans, but the humans who were equipped with the bots didn't use the fucking bots. So control group number 1 was the LLM group. They were the physicians who had the large language model. They scored a median of 76%. 76%. The conventional ones, the ones who just continued to do business like they always do, 74%. So it wasn't that big of a deal. The large language model by itself scored 92%. So if group number 1 actually trusted the large language model, they would have scored significantly higher, but the humans didn't trust the tech. So if an LLM has 92% accuracy rate diagnosing patients, who out there still believes that an LLM can't source, screen, and schedule interviews for open recs? I mean, how much time could companies save in the hiring process if you allowed the tech to just do those 3 simple tasks: source, screen, schedule? Another Harvard working study entitled Navigating the Jagged Technological Frontier showed that consultants using GPT-4 completed 12% more tasks, 25% faster, and produced outputs 40% higher in quality compared to those not using the AI assistant. So if you're still out there in Chad and Cheese podcast listening land and you are still in denial, this is what I got to ask you to do. Go to thesessions.ai. Okay. That's where we actually sat down with Eileen Kowalski from GM, and she talks about how they are already doing this and it's working, right? So we can't be in denial anymore. And the thing that really gets me here is these are physicians, healthcare. We could do so much with this. Imagine what we could do also on the recruiting side. You got to trust it.
60% of the time, it works every time.
Yeah, these guys and gals went to school longer for longer periods than the most recruiters that I know, and still get it wrong. Look, there's some jobs that I can't imagine being fully automated. One is doctor, one is pilot, and dentist. Like anything that and maybe stripper that shouldn't ever be automated.
Talk about
so you're right.
Later.
If we get to a point in humanity and society where we say, you know what? I got a little ache. I want, the x-ray. Tell me what the robots say I have. And that's more trusted than what the doctor looking at it says. Certainly the doctors that augment are going to be probably the most successful, but you got to trust the robots, right? It sounds like there's a God complex with doctors, which is not surprising, where they say, I'm smarter than a robot. And this data says, no, not exactly. So do doctors get to a point where they trust the data and then just follow suit with the patient? I don't know. But yes, if we can get to a point where that stuff, and I've been in a Waymo, I'm totally cool with no taxis, drivers, the actual people, like let me get in a car and go where I want to go. Recruiting is screwed long term, because back to the ERE thing, and back to the positive, like if 80% are gone because of this stuff, like that makes it really hard to have a conference. It makes it really hard to have products and services beyond a few. And it kind of makes it hard to do a podcast because robots don't listen to podcasts, from what I know. But our listener numbers say people want to know what's going on. What is AI going to, like, how do I adapt? How do I learn how to survive in this world? Maybe that's part of the reason why we're getting a lot of increases in listenership. But you're right. If healthcare goes down the road of let the robots know what we're doing, and 60 Minutes had a great story about people that are in training robots and what cancer looks like, and a picture and what certain things. Yeah. So this is where we're going. I think it's for the best if we can get healthcare quick and easy based on whatever, and the robots can tell us, the LLMs can tell us. I think that's a good world, but it's going to scare a lot of people for sure.
It will. It will.
It will scare a few people. Almost as scary as what Walmart did this week. Walmart has announced changes to its diversity, equity, and inclusion policies, continuing a trend among U.S. companies that we've talked about quite a bit on the show. This decision comes amidst legal victories against DEI programs by conservative groups and a broader corporate retreat from DEI initiatives, including companies like Boeing, Ford, Harley-Davidson, et cetera. Walmart's shift includes moving away from the term DEI to, quote, belonging, reflecting a strategic adjustment in response to legal, political, and social dynamics. Chad, I'm guessing you have a few thoughts on this move by Walmart.
I do, but I'm actually going to talk about an expert in this space and her thoughts, because she actually wrote about it last week, and that's my wife, Julie Sowash. Yep. She wrote an article called Walmart from Rooster to Chicken. And here's an excerpt. So, quote, let's be real. Walmart isn't as clueless as their public statement would suggest. They aren't bowing to public pressure because they care about the public's opinion. If they did, they would then know that most Americans support DEI efforts and prefer to spend money with companies that promote diversity. No, Walmart's retreat isn't about responding to the public. It's about a business decision to scale back on DEI and in anticipation of less enforcement of affirmative action under the incoming administration. They've used the classic excuse of, quote unquote, responsiveness to backtrack on something that they never really believed in. It's all about cutting operational costs so they can fatten up their shareholders' pockets in the next quarter, as you can see in their Q3 earnings report. Classic chicken move, end quote. And she's 100% right. I mean, I couldn't have written it any better. Wherever companies believe they can cut corners and throw money back into the bottom line, They're going to do it. And if companies believe they could not be held accountable for workplace fairness and equity, they're going to cut all control measures. And that's what's happening right now. So it's going to be interesting to see how companies actually rein in to ensure that there is fairness and there is equity, because that's how people stay longer, without really putting a quote unquote, program in a box called DEI. So will Walmart do it, or will they just let everything flow to the wind? I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, the answer to all your questions, my son, is money. And Julie obviously hit that nail on the head.
Yeah.
What really surprises me about this is Walmart's for everybody. I mean, like if Harley Davidson says fuck DEI, I mean it's a tough machismo business. Like most of their buyers could give a shit, but everyone shops at Walmart. Like it's for everybody. And why there isn't, what I find interesting, is there's no voice or entity saying don't shop at Walmart because they don't embrace DEI. However, there is a really loud voice on the other side saying this company embraces DEI, don't shop there, boycott this company, service, etc. And there's a guy named Robbie Starbuck. I don't know if this name rings a bell to you, but he has a huge social media presence, and his sole existence is calling out companies, talking about boycotts, etc. And if you're not familiar with him, this is a Bloomberg story, a Bloomberg TikTok, a reporter that has covered this story and has some really cool insight. Want to play that for the audience and for you.
Robbie Starbuck is back. You know, the conservative activist who pushed big companies like Harley Davidson, John Deere, and Tractor Supply to drop their DEI efforts. Well, he's given himself another win, and it's a big one. Walmart is rolling back some of its diversity policies. But I've been covering this fight and Starbucks for a long time, and I'm here to tell you something is different with this one. So here's what we know. Last week, Starbucks said that he contacted Walmart about its diversity efforts and threatened to boycott. Walmart agreed to engage with him, and Starbucks said that the frank conversations the two parties had were critical. Starbucks was the one who broke the news of Walmart's reversal of its DEI efforts. And what did Walmart say? Not a whole lot. But it did confirm some of the changes when reporters started calling. Starbucks' crusade to eradicate wokeness from corporate America has followed a similar pattern. First, he targets a company with a conservative customer base like Harley Davidson or Tractor Supply. Then he exposes them, threatens a boycott, and hounds them on social media. But there was no public campaign against Walmart, even as Starbucks talked with the company privately. And unlike his other targets, Walmart's customer base also doesn't necessarily lean clearly left or right. But you know who does? Trump and his incoming administration. That's why Walmart's rollback looks less like a Starbucks story and more like a Trump one. Businesses across the U.S. are preparing for an administration that will go after any company it deems woke. And fairly or not, that will cost companies money. The question for corporate America is how to handle the next 4 years. Walmart's first try at that, letting conservative activists like Starbucks drive the narrative, was cowardly. And it sets a dangerous example for other companies. Walmart is perfectly capable of standing up to bullies like Starbucks. It just didn't want to in this political climate.
Fear.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a 2025 narrative. Businesses getting on Trump's good side, and he's really good about striking fear, tariffs,
2025,
merchandise more expensive, like
2027.
What scares Walmart to death is if they can no longer be the lowest cost provider for goods and services, and they want to not be on Trump's target list, tariff list. Like Apple did a great job of getting iPhones out of the China tariffs. Like they got a pass because Tim Cook played really nice with Donald Trump, and I think a lot of businesses that get stuff from China are going to bow down to Trump, and this is going to be a story for the next 4 years.
Kiss the ring and fill the Bermuda bank accounts.
It'd be nice if there was an opposite of Starbucks on the other side, but there really isn't, unfortunately. All right, let's take a quick break. And OnlyFans, we haven't talked about that in a while.
Hospitality is the heart of our society. It brings people together to share great food, drinks, and experiences. But successfully managing a restaurant or hotel is no easy feat. That's where Harri comes in. Harri is the frontline employee experience platform that helps you build, manage, and engage great teams. With Harri, managers can easily find and hire top talent, manage timekeeping, and communicate with employees at any time from any place. Candidates and team members can quickly and efficiently apply for jobs, swap shifts, and access important information entirely from their mobile devices. And Harri's robust employee engagement tools make team members feel more connected than ever. With Harri, as an owner or operator, you get a bird's eye view of your business, from turnover cost, labor cost, employee sentiment, compliance risk, and team performance. Run your business better by understanding the power of your people. Because when your team is the heart of your business, Harri is the heartbeat. See how it transforms your business.
All right, Chad. It may be about time for us to announce our OnlyFans page based on some of the numbers that are coming out on this stuff. Sophie Rain, a top content creator on OnlyFans, has revealed her earnings for 1 year on the platform. You ready for this? 1 year, $43,477,695 and 1 cent. I thought the 1 cent was fun. If she went to Hollywood, the only 3 actors who could currently boast having a bigger bank account increase than her would be Tom Cruise, Margot Robbie, and Adam Sandler. OnlyFans is getting out of control. Chad, what are your thoughts on Sophie Rain's $43 million year?
Well, I think she's just one of many that we've talked about already. Yes, there are porn stars that are making money on OnlyFans, but we've also talked about teachers and nurses leaving their jobs and making mad cash on OnlyFans. The growth of this platform is mind-blowing. And according to Variety, OnlyFans has record revenues and profits in 2023 fiscal year with a total of $6.63 billion in payments made during that time, with a total of 4.12 million content creators. Over 4 million content creators, and the average payout to OnlyFans creators is about $1,300 a year. So yes, if you want to be a part of that crazy 4 million with some kind of fetish that you want to do, that's entirely up to you, but you keep me out of it, Cheeseman. You keep me out of it.
I want to highlight what you said there. The average income for a creator is $1,300 a year. So by and large, there's about 1.4 million Americans on the platform. So it's not a sure thing that you're going to get rich off of being a creator on OnlyFans, because if 1,300 is the average, there are people making $2. I mean, there's like a really low end. I guess that nose hair fetish. That nose hair fetish isn't catching on like I thought it would. It's funny. I dug into this a little bit. There are some other porn stars, creators that are calling bullshit on some of this. Apparently, she says one fan tipped her $4 million. Does that pass the sniff test? I don't know. $4 million for a tip for being on video. There's also like a big uproar right now about how OnlyFans is fucking with the porn industry. The porn industry is in trouble because of OnlyFans. Sure. As far as I can tell, Pornhub is doing just fine with views.
It shouldn't be a problem. They can move over to another storefront. I mean, it's just weird. Yeah. You got to go to where the people are at, right? We went to Google. Now we're going to TikTok, and we're going to we're going to ChatGPT. I mean, things evolve. Yeah.
To me, it's just. For people, for you and I in a generation who saw their first boob in a Playboy, more than likely, like the world that we live in now is so surreal to me, and it's a little bit sad that there's so many. Like, you can get this stuff for free, but people are paying whatever to see this shit. Anyway, it's
And that $4 million tip, who knows what other deliverables outside of just the OnlyFans stream, right? You never, I mean, you
it
just
could be a backdoor to prostitution. Or who
knows? Who knows?
I said backdoor.
What are
everybody
you doing, step bro?
All right, Chad, until we have the AI look like real people, I guess OnlyFans will continue to hit the ball out of the park, which brings us to Our dad joke of the week. Are you ready? Are you ready for
ready as I can
the dad joke of the week? What would the Terminator be called in retirement? What would the Terminator be called in retirement? I'll be back. What would the Terminator be called in retirement, Chad?
I don't know. Shit.
The Exterminator. Get it? The Exterminator.
That's bad.
We out.
We out.
Thank you for listening to, what's it called? A podcast. The Chad. The Cheese. Brilliant. They talk about recruiting. They talk about technology. But most of all, they talk about nothing. Just a lot of shout-outs of people you don't even know. And yet you're listening. It's incredible. And not one word about cheese. Not one. Cheddar. Blue. Nacho. Pepper Jack. Swiss. So many cheeses and not one word. So weird. Anywho, be sure to subscribe today on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. That way you won't miss an episode. And while you're at it, visit www.chadcheese.com. Just don't expect to find any recipes for grilled cheese. It's so weird. We out!